I'm joined now by Cecilia Sottilotta, a professor of international relations at American University of Rome. Well, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. Now, we often see the finger of blame pointed at Matteo Salvini when it comes to these stories of migration standoffs. But really, shouldn't it be pointed at the EU and other member states for the lack of solidarity when it comes to the relocation of these migrants?
Well, of course, this is part of the problem. The fact that Salvini protests this lack of solidarity is, at the end of the day, it's actually based on facts, right? So today, there's no clear plan for the redistribution of migrants among EU member states. But interestingly, the reason why we do not have such a plan is that every attempt at introducing one has been blocked by several countries, including, for instance, the so-called Visegrad countries, namely Hungary, Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Poland, but also Italy actually was voting with them. So in a way, yeah, it is true that there's a lack of solidarity on the one hand, but on the other hand, it is also true that the Italian government doesn't really seem to be interested in finding a swift but also permanent solution to the migration issue.
OK, so with that in mind, do you think that the EU's now embryonic solidarity mechanism, do you think that is actually going to end up providing a solution to this issue?
Well, I honestly think that any scheme aiming at the redistribution of migrants should have Italy on board. Now, in fact, reportedly, during the last year, there were a number of meetings within the European Parliament about how to try to reform the Dublin system, which currently, doesn't really provide a convincing solution to the redistribution issue. But in fact, the League of Salvini never quite participated in those meetings. Now, this plan, which was presented by Macron, would be based on a sort of coalition of the willing, with 14 EU countries agreeing to share, but many details are not clear. For instance, it is not clear what does it mean to have only 8 nations which would be active on this scheme. This is what we heard.
And then they don't seem to have been particularly active now, do they? It seems to be a little worrying, a little worrying precursor that they don't seem to have been active when it comes to this current standoff that we're seeing.
Of course, but the thing is, the problem is that taking in migrants is not very popular with any European country right now when it comes to public opinion. So the governments are obviously very much worried about the domestic constituencies. This is why I was saying that, in fact, it's very handy for the Italian government to have the migration issue so present, so debated on national and international media, because in fact it diverts attention from other issues which may require attention. I would like to say, this is very important, that we keep talking about a migration issue, crisis, but as a matter of fact, Italy, and this data come from the Italian Ministry of Interior, which is led by Salvini, only received 3,600 migrants since January as of today.
So numbers are coming down. We're going to have to stop this here, but those numbers have come down. But thanks so much for joining us on the programme, Cecilia Sottilotta, Professor of International Relations at the American University in Rome.